can. It will be done in 3 parts today. We'll start with the TV section, then moving on to the dailies, and then finishing with the Sunday section. We're going to start today's press conference with Gary Cottrell from Sky Sports News. Gary, when you appear on the panel, unmute yourself and away you go.
Just rejoined as a panellist. Sorry to keep you waiting there, Thomas.
No problem. Hi.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. Could I get the latest team news, please?
The latest team news, yes, you can, of course. We had training today with everybody out on the pitch, except for Ben Chilwell, which is brilliant news. This is pretty much it.
So the two that went off with injuries, the last match, Ziyech, Kovacic, they're both okay?
Both okay since today. Like they were not only out on the pitch with separate programs, everybody joined team training from the first to the last minute. We have at the moment no reactions, but positive reactions, and I hope it stays like this. We have another training tomorrow, and to have everybody available for Sunday.
Sorry, but the inevitable question, how's Romelu been this week?
I would say good, like everybody else. I know he's I know he's an important player. If you play a lot of money these days for one single player, there's a lot of focus on the player. But if you maybe look a little bit, if you allow yourself to zoom a little bit out, he played a lot of matches from the start for us, consecutive matches. We have maybe a little bit the same situation, for example, with Jorginho, who is one of our captains and did not play so much from the beginning lately, because we feel him a bit tired, a bit mentally tired. But the focus is hugely on Romelu, which I can understand. But the situation is more or less the same, like for Jorginho, and that sometimes it's not fair and sometimes it's a bit too much, because both of them understand themselves as team players, and I understand the huge focus. But the things inside are very clear, and the decisions are made clear, and the players accept. And once you play for Chelsea, you accept that the team goes first, and that's why there's no hard feelings, not from Romelu, not from me, and not from anybody else. There were a lot of players who wanted to be on the pitch in the last matches and have not played, because only 11 can start, and that will never change.
There was a headline in Italy this week, Thomas, repeating the claims that Romelu isn't settled in London at Chelsea, wants to return to Inter. Romelu and his aides very quickly said that was nonsense, there was no truth in it, and he was concentrating only on Chelsea in a big cup final. You must have been pleased by that reaction.
I did not read the headline, and I was absolutely not aware of the reaction. This is maybe the best thing to do. I trust my players and their focus. I mean, on the other hand, what other choice is there? I mean, there's no transfer period right now, and everybody is hugely involved in the goals that we want to achieve together. And the truth is, we can only achieve them together, and we can only achieve them with a strong Romelu, a strong Jorginho, a strong everybody. And if everybody plays their role to the very top level, then we can be a very, very strong team, and then we can fulfill our dreams. And that is the point. So there is absolutely no need now to get distracted and to read these headlines and get carried away by these headlines. It's very calm at the moment. We get quality back in the group. We get injured players back in the group, and this is what counts. And we take care about the daily process. Everything else we cannot influence.
Well, lots of people want to talk to you about a very big cup final on Sunday. I just want to ask you before you move on to them and that, the Champions League final is changing location.
Well,
you'll be the third. If you make it, you'll have played 3 Champions League finals where the location has changed. So maybe that's a good omen. Whenever a location is changed, you're in it. But
okay.
On a more serious note, I think it's the right thing to do.
Yes, a clear yes, and sadly, Sadly, I think it's the worst reason to change a location. The absolutely worst reason. We feel horrible about it in general. It clouds our minds and it clouds our focus, of course, and we can absolutely understand the decision. In the moment, actually, we don't think so much about it. It's nice that you mentioned it, and it's nice that it was like this the last 2 times. It was the last 2 times because of Corona. So, and we thought already that this is not good news because of Corona. So now we have even worse news, and yeah, there are like things more important, and the focus from us in general on sportive and globally speaking is at the moment not at the final.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Move on to John Southall.
Hi Thomas, how are you doing?
Hi.
Can I just start by asking you the goalkeeping situation? Obviously, Kepa has played in every round up to this stage. Will he start in goal on Sunday?
First of all, I will not tell you. And we will take the decision late, because you have a reason to ask the question. In the last competition was a very short competition. Kepa played in the World Cup, in the Club World Cup. Kepa played the semi-final and was a huge part in the semi-final, brought us to the final, and then we took the decision for Edu coming back from the African Cup of Nations, from the African Cup, and then it's a pretty similar situation now. The very last decision we will take after training, like always, because there's no need to take the decision now when we have one more training ahead. Kepa did fantastic in the period where we had to be without Edu, and so it's a uncomfortable and very comfortable situation to be in.
Do you think he deserves a chance to play in the final? As you say, he did really well in the Club World Cup. Every time you say the way he conducts himself, around the club.
It's very easy
can
to
not get sentimental about it.
This is both very easy to answer. He absolutely deserves, and I cannot get sentimental about it. I cannot. I have to do what is in the end, in my opinion, the very best solution for the team. I know that this position is a very sensitive position. If Kepa was a player in the field among the other 10 players, we would not have these discussions. We would just be full of praise, and besides it, because we are full of praise for him, he would feel it in minutes. So now he is like in this one position where you don't do a lot of changes, and still, yeah, he would absolutely deserve it, and I will not be sentimental about the decision.
And just one on Jurgen Klopp. How much do you enjoy coming up against him? And I know you've spoken about your relationship before, but do you speak regularly?
No, we don't speak regularly. Enjoying, well, to play against teams who are coached from Jurgen is not only pure pleasure, because they give you a hard time, and of course we're facing him with a very strong Liverpool team on a very strong run of games, run of results, in brilliant form. So it's a big challenge, but it's a big occasion, and we feel absolutely competitive regarding our last matches to Liverpool, and this is where we want to continue. And yeah, in the end, I know you know exactly what I mean. In the end, it's a pleasure to meet him. It's a pleasure to be in a final at Wembley again, and very grateful for it.
Declan McCarthy, Talk Sport.
Hey Thomas, just 2 from me. Great to see you again. But just firstly, just to give us a bit of an insight, what do you say to the players when it comes up to these big occasions? Because, in your time at Chelsea, you've had a Champions League final, Club World Cup, I could go on. It always just seems that winning mentality rises to the top. Are you able to give us some sort of insight into what you kind of say to the players?
It's not decided yet, but I think, you hear me maybe a lot of times saying that we take care about the daily process. I don't think that you take care about the final on the day before the final or on the day of the final. I think you take care about the final on a daily basis before, when nobody thinks about the final, because this is what brings you there. And then the closer you get, the the more routine, the more behaviors, the more principle must be installed, that you can trust yourself and that you can be free, because in the end, the tension is growing. We try to give less information. We try to trust them and trust in our skills. It's for me not the moment to do crazy things, crazy talks. But even that changes from occasion to occasion, from feeling to feeling. How do you feel your team? What was the approach to the final? Who's the opponent? But yeah, I don't want to give you more insight, actually.
Fair enough. And then going into the final on Sunday, Thomas, obviously with Liverpool playing more consecutive Premier League games, they certainly have the form behind them.
Yeah.
Some may even say and suggest that they are the favourites for the game. Now, we've had this in the Champions League final when Manchester City were the favourites, and we know what happened then. Does this almost help your team?
I don't know, but I think like to a 51 or 55%, they are the favourites because of recent form and recent results. But we all know, like when we were the favourites against Lille, and we maybe still are, we know that in the end, when we arrive, Lille will play will play to their full level, and they will play the role as an underdog and will not accept it as a disadvantage. And so do we. And we have things to trust on. We have experienced matches, tight matches against Liverpool. I think the last 3 were all like a draw. So that will not happen, obviously, in Wembley. We will find a winner somehow. And we know very well what it takes to have a tough match against them. And we feel confident that we have everything what it takes. And now we need to show it. And I think it's the same. It's the same for them, and nice to have a match like this in the final.
Okay, last 2 in this section: Nick Purewall and Jerry Cox to finish. Nick.
Hi Thomas.
Hi.
So just in terms of fitness, is Reece James available for selection then? Because obviously he was back in training, but could he feature, and if so, how much of a boost would that be?
Very good question. Even if I wanted to, I'm not sure if I could answer your question right now. He looked brilliant in the last 2 training sessions. Let's wait another session and then let's see if I'm crazy enough to just put him on the pitch, or if the reasonable side of me wins in the end and we go for step by step. It would be a huge step. But honestly, yesterday and today he looked so strong, so confident, and so involved in training that you are tempted to do it. Let's see. We have a little bit of time, and the most important for him and for us is that he's back and that he feels so confident that he can step up on this kind of level, what he did yesterday and today. Still 2 days to go, and then we will take the decision.
Last question, Jerry Cox.
Hi Thomas, just a question about the forward line really. Has Kai Havertz done enough to justify a position up front?
If he did enough to justify, yeah, it's a clear yes. It's a clear yes. Does this mean that he needs to start and has to start and will start? No, we will also decide this late. This will depend to also how much he played, to what we need, and to with what characters we want to fill the positions. But did he do enough? Yes, in the last weeks, absolutely yes.
Okay, that's the end of the broadcast section.